ban out Bounty Hunter and Rubik. That is not heroes that you ban out against Virtus Pro.
Yeah, they literally just switch sides. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
You're thinking that they might be the other way around?
I think they might be the other way around, because
Okay.
it seems very eerie if that is indeed the case. Because we haven't really seen Virtus Pro go for Bounty Hunter at all.
No, indeed, and it is one of the most picked and banned against IG. So
Yes.
you are making good points here, Sheev.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Shadow Demon's back though, and it is going to be almost exactly the same start.
Yep.
Getting Luna and Batrider under their belt.
Do they take the Lifestealer this time? Or do they take the Slaughter this time?
They have access to it.
They have
Yeah, they
access
do.
to it. I mean, why not?
It's like you lost to it. I mean, maybe you just play the strat the other team did and hope for the best, but no. Definitely want to maybe change it up a little bit. It's definitely a strong pickup, though. Slaughter is a hero that we've been seeing either banned or picked in a majority of these.
Yeah, they've got the graphic
There you
the
go,
wrong way.
yeah.
It's going to get swapped to
It's
chopped and
gonna
There
changed.
we go.
there.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Yeah. No.
Yep, no.
Yeah. I'm not so sure.
Maybe this is the right one. We'll see though. We'll see as the draft progresses. We should
Sure.
be able to figure out who's
Yeah.
who. And I mean, Shadow Demon works well together with so many different heroes that you normally want to pick a
Yeah.
hero that doesn't give too much away with what you're trying to do. So Slardar obviously for Virtus Pro was a good one because we know they run it at 9 Pasha. We know that Lil plays it. Marana is another one that comes to mind in terms of what heroes, what teams often pick, although I don't pick
Sure.
these two teams, will pick them. But just a hero that can use in multiple situations, and this is definitely a Virtus Pro Weaver pick, as I don't believe IG
all.
Vitality plays Weaver at all.
Yeah, so let's just for now assume that we do have Virtus Pro on the left-hand
Yeah,
side
so
and IG on the right, because this makes a whole lot more
Yeah,
sense.
there you go. So VP is on the left,
Yes.
IG is on the right.
Yes.
There we go.
You are right.
All right. Okay. So Shadow Demon Weaver, you know what's coming. So this is, in terms of keeping things a mystery, I guess there's a small chance that 9 Pasha or Ramses playing Weaver, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Lil Weaver. So how do you prepare for that?
I mean, is it though? Because they always run Lil Weaver with the Drow Ranger. So this looks like
Yes.
it's a bit of a change-up, though. Maybe they're going for... I mean, Weaver in a 1v1 matchup versus Batrider can do quite decent.
Okay.
Okay.
But, I mean, it leaves it open-ended, you know? Kind of the same thing as picking the Slaughter. It leaves it very open to you. So now now we can take a look, and that's...
There you go.
We got
That's the one.
There we go.
That's the Badger.
Yeah.
That's the badge.
So same thing, they, of course, the Juggernaut, it's just... IG Vitality's like super comfort pick, so they ban it. Even though they have the Luna, same thing, they don't.
So-
It's like, well, no point giving it away. It's good with Luna anyway, with the push.
One of the big points you guys made was don't let them get Slardar, and they've chosen Weaver instead of it being available to them. Looks like we're going for something different here for VP.
Just going to warm up all the heroes, you know?
Yeah. Just stretching,
could be that.
stretching their fingers.
Yeah. See how things go.
I always feel like with VP, they seem like a very confident team at the moment. They
Sure.
are. I don't think you could say they were arrogant because they were.
Yep.
They approached that game the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't sort of treat them without respect. They played the correct way against the strat. So I think confidence is good, and it's not sort of arrogance. It's confidence. So.
I mean, it's the same approach too. Like the Shadow Demon Slardar, the Slardar is left open. You know, he can go support, he can go off lane. I mean, in some cases carry, not with VP's case for the most part. And now with Weaver, it's the same kind of thing. You know, he can be carry. He can actually go everywhere.
Yeah.
So it leaves your draft just completely open and leaves it unpredictable.
I do want to take this opportunity while we are seeing the draft continue to just to kind of pick your brain, Fogged, about what makes Lil's Weaver so scary. Because, I mean, it's not necessarily... It's something that he has kind of crafted. It's something that he's concocted himself. What is it that he does oh so right on this hero?
I mean, he's a very aggressive player,
Sure.
like, super aggressive player, and his team just enables him super hard with it. Like, they give him all the farm possible. They're just like, you do you. Like, in one of the games, I think this was at Summit as well, they gave him, he gets like a triple kill at level 1, he gets a bounty rune as well, he buys a level, like medallion at 2 minutes.
As a position 4.
As a position 4. They just gave him pretty much everything, and he was a carry, the core support, like we were saying.
So IG Vitality up against eHome, I believe it was, had Burning playing Silencer.
Okay.
And this was the game they won. This was Burning actually doing really well on that hero, and them having a strategy around it to go hard in very early on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Already having like that, the combo, you know, Batrider Silencer, we used to see that a lot more.
Wow.
Oof. Okay.
Oh,
Centaur.
wow. Big Centaur fan out there. Someone says, yeah, Centaur!
That was Shannon, probably. Right?
Centaur.
It's a great hero versus like Batrider and Luna. This is of course like theorizing down the stages. Like if you get Aghanims, you reduce a lot of the damage potential. If somebody gets lassoed, you obviously get like 60% damage reduction. But even before you do it, your team is able to follow up with the counter initiation. Batrider lassos, you stampede in, everybody runs in, you get your spells up. But versus a Silencer, makes it a bit different.
Yeah, this does reveal that this Weaver probably... Would you say Ramses Weaver still is an option? I was going to say this Weaver is a Lil Weaver then.
I think it still leaves it open, but it's more than likely Lil just because it's VP, but it's still open-ended for sure.
Not forgetting that, I mean, IGV, they have got legendary names upon them, not forgetting Burning, of course, and Q joining the roster as well.
So Paparazzi already playing Luna. We're missing Sakata's hero. Mid-hero, there is still a chance of Dragon Knight still going to get picked up by Virtus Pro, as they did ban out the same heroes.
I think they need some like lockdown. They don't really have much stun for the Weaver. I know they like Jakiro a good amount, and they like doing it with like these dual lanes like Batrider, Jakiro, or something like that. It enables them more. But okay, so different form, not like straight lockdown, but he's very good versus Weaver at multiple stages. Gives you like more vision game as well. You know, Luna gives you nighttime, has better nighttime vision. Batrider, Firefly vision. Night Stalker, if you get your Aghanims, you give the crazy amount of vision to your team. So IG playing that type of game, that type of approach.
Yeah, you got a spell to break the Lincolns, you got the Silence to follow up. After that, if Weaver indeed will get that Lincolns, depending on what build he goes for, because if it is a little Weaver, then he probably won't.
Beefy frontliner if they do the dual laner as well, like Night Stalker, Batrider.
I do like it when we keep calling it Lil Weaver. It does sound like a kind of a street name.
It sounds more like a kid's playset.
The
Lil Weaver playset.
I was thinking like a hip-hop artist.
Oh.
Like Lil Weaver. Lil Weaver in the house.
Okay.
You want to see that?
I think it does.
You call it lethal if you want.
No, it's not a beetle. It's clearly not a beetle. Goodness me.
When they pick so many like different things of being able to just like shut down the Weaver in a way, like Night Stalker, Batrider, Silence, so these things like really hurt a core Weaver, I would more assume that it's getting pushed more to the Lil's hero as well. So that makes sense.
Well, so you think the worse things get for a carry Weaver, the more you push him down the order?
Makes sense.
Then that means that their core so far is not countered yet at all. Or at least, you know, all the focus towards the Weaver. There's the Mirana. No one plays the Mirana for Virtus Pro more often than not. Whenever they pick up that hero. They do have the arrow the disruption to set up.
Mirana,
set up for the arrow.
The classic.
Yeah.
Gives them more wave clear, more burst damage potential as well with the Mirana.
If Night Stalker gets a gem though, and an Aghanims, Mirana's ultimate's going to be useless. Weaver's Kushi's going to be kind of not as powerful as it was before. I think that the vision game here is going to be really strong for IG Vitality.
The cool thing, that's for sure. I think the nice thing for VP is that this is still very open-ended. Like, where do you can't really assume where any of these heroes are going to go. Like, it could be a mid Mirana, it could be a support Weaver, it could be an off-lane more than likely off-lane Centaur. But it leaves like these two, like, you're like, okay, which one is which? Which one is Lil going to be playing? Which one's Noah going to be playing? We don't really know just yet.
And it's not necessarily like homework will help you, because you know you could have done your research to see who plays what most. But
they can just change it up. Yeah, exactly.
That is scary to be one pick away from locked in, and they still don't know where everything's going.
They still think that these are it's a carry Weaver and support Mirana.
They've been at the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, no one Shadow Fiend is something definitely to fear, as we saw multiple times. What
needs to happen for IG Vitality to fit an Axe in their lineup? Because I feel like that's one of the Sakata's stronger heroes. Let's put it that way.
I'm trying to think where you'd put him. It'd be kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Ban the Storm. They did that last time and they picked the DK right away, but...
Do you think they need more beef when you've got the Centaur?
They like picking very tanky heroes, and they don't really have a natural tower here. Like, Weaver's okay.
Yeah, once he gets a Deso, it's pretty good.
Yeah, he's decent at prodding towers, but they don't have any of those natural...
They want to sit there and just hit towers, guy. DK would be a good shout. He did well last time on the DK as well.
I wouldn't imagine that they do the same thing either. Like, sometimes they do, but no one's a very versatile player. He has, like, many different heroes that he does like to play.
You said before that now is the time to do the special strat. Now to pull the ace from your sleeve. Does this Night Stalker Silencer feel like that to you? I mean,
absolutely.
This is enough to be that ace up the sleeve, to at least throw a bit of a spanner in the works of Virtus Pro.
Last time I saw Night Stalker was Wings playing, and he went completely berserk at Summit with it. So that's
the difference. Is I like the way IG started off with the Luna Bat. So you didn't know that it was going to be something unusual, and then they follow it with two slightly different picks. If their third pick is really unusual, then so take the Lifestealer again. Yeah, why not?
That answers all of our questions.
So it is the Lil Weaver, and it's going to be the Noah and Mirana, and I mean Ramsey's Lifestealer again.
I can't believe they made it all the way through the draft.
Right?
Yeah.
It can get punished, obviously, because of like the Lasso Silencer combo, but maybe we'll see him go for like that Manta build that he did before to remove the global, something like he emphasized before.
Yeah.
Alchemist.
There's an Alchemist.
Okay. Interesting draft. I'm liking IG's. IG's like different approach in this game for sure.
Well, I mean, you know you've had a different draft when there's an audible ooh from the crowd. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So IG, the odds are stacked against them, Shiva. But just closing thoughts. This is the ace we were looking for.
I think it might be. I still think Ramses Lifestealer is. I mean, it's just looked like a very good draft from Virtus Pro. It just seems like something they're comfortable with. But
a comfortable Virtus Pro folk.
I like IG's scaling potential though. It's definitely interesting. We'll see if they're able to really pull it off with the combos that they have too.
I think that's the best word we're going to use. Interesting
yes.
is how we're going to frame this. IG VP, they already made VP sweat just a little in the first, and now they're on the ropes. If IG concede this, they will be the first team eliminated from the Boston Major, and your casters to guide you through the action are Merlini and Toby1.
Thanks a lot, Machine. Yes, you know what? Personally, Merlini, I hate using the word interesting because it's kind of like that throwaway. You know, it was an interesting movie of Aragon where dragons were cool.
There's an Urban Dictionary definition of interesting. It's not interesting.
Yes.
Makes sense.
That's exactly what I don't want to have for this game. This game, I prefer to have the game of the immortal. VP, insanely difficult lineup to kill. Great rotations with the SD to move. And of course, Lil's Weaver is always the VP spice that you add to the pot. While IGV... they look like they're going to scale well. Is something different to the last game? Less lane presence? What do you think about IGV?
You know, they have Alchemist. Alchemist is sporting a 90% win rate.
Really?
Yep. He's the highest win rate at the Boston Major.
That's a
with
pretty
over 5
impressive
games
win rate.
played. Yep. He's been winning a ton, and a lot of teams just cannot stop him.
I wonder how many of those games that were over on Radiant, not on Dire. Like how many, like it's easy just to slip down when you're on the Radiant side and get that farm for the Alchemist. This time around though, IGV gonna have to prepare a lot of farm with rotating supports of VP, throwing spanners in the works.
They are so scared, hiding behind their T1. They want to get a rune. They want to see where they are and then try and get a rune. So now they see a Shadow Demon, 4 heroes will run bottom. Q will stand up the hill to make sure no one's around. Nothing funny is going on.
They protect the Alchemist, or they need the money. So keep Solo away from the rune and let the Alchemist get like his first like 3,000 gold or something from a rune. Obviously, that's inflation.
But look at where they've placed the Observer Wards already on the Radiant side, or Radiant Observer Wards. They've blocked out this camp and they blocked out the pool camp with 2 Observer Wards. So that's 6 spawns that will not spawn.
That's a lot down. Yep. But for the moment, with it just being no one versus the Alchemist, and with that high ground Observer Ward for Sakata, like he's going to be able to see practically everything coming towards him in the mid lane. And with the Dire Observer Ward down the bottom lane, in a place where it doesn't block up anything, but it sees a hell of a lot. So the second SD leaves the lane, there'll also be information for IGV. So even if their laning phase isn't as regenerative as Game 1, they definitely have the vision to allow them to prepare and potentially counter the movements of VP.
Yep, and there's no smokes on the side of VP and no sentries on top lane for IG Vitality. So all in all, early game should be kind of as we expect. This Night Stalker Batrider lane is very, very strong. Shadow Demon as a solo support cannot really deal with a bat, let alone a bat +1, but maybe that's where the Weaver comes in.
Look how much damage Burning is able to do.
Yeah.
Like, you combine it with just the Lunar Aura, even if it's just level 1. Pasha, a lot of life, Stout Shield as well, but with the early point up in Glaive, Burning's just... the Weaver out of the 3 they played, and all 3 games were successful.
And
in July, that's a decent rune. With the pull over that's happening, he needs more support. Q doesn't really offer that as a level 1 Night Stalker during daytime.
they can kill the Shadow Demon. Oh, he's in a terrible position. If they can actually... I thought he was going to try and block him on the cliff. But he has a Sentry Ward, so maybe has to be a little bit fearful.
At the moment, it's just leeching. The Saturn Blast actually hurting Solo, and you can see in July, he wants the SD. Lil's going to Shikuchi his way through. Q's already TPing away. But with a Firefly down, maybe in July can steal just a little bit of what's left of this stack.
Very important to have a TP right there. This is a lane that you just do not want to feed. They haven't been able to block either spawn, so the supports would get a lot if any of those heroes died.
Pasha's already abandoned. He's just gone jungle now as this Centaur. This is all the free space. So again, IGV gonna have a very farmed up Luna. How's the timing actually work for this? So you've got a very different game to what you had previously. How do you run this? If you're IGV, what's the sweet spot for the Luna?
I think it's just the same thing, except they have a much different hero in the mid lane. It's very similar to last game, right, with the Bat and the Luna, but this time the Timbersaw doesn't have to go in and fight. Like VP are way more forced to come onto IG Vitality's side of the map because of this Alchemist. There is some unfortunate things for them though. The camp that Injali is taking out right now was a troll camp, and the Night Stalker was trying to stack it, but that camp is very hard to stack if it's a troll camp, if you're a melee hero. So they weren't able to get too many stacks up on him, and of course Burning now running to the jungle and be like, okay.
This timing for this is a little bit too late, so Solo is able to walk off. That's a very low Centaur. Pasha actually went down to 5 HP when he was doing his farming, so almost gets himself denied as well. That wasn't part of his plan.
I like the way that they round out the items on the Weaver. He's going for a Blightstone, so this saves Lifestealer another item. They always have a way to augment the Lifestealer's damage. Last game with the Amp, this game with a little bit of minus armor for the Weaver.
Still a little concern for VP just how much space this Luna's getting. Now attacking into the tier 1 tower. Once Pasha's healed up, okay, he's not even waiting to heal. He's got his Tranquil Boots anyway, but jumps straight to the top lane. But this is good chip damage into the tier 1 tower, and when this happens, VP have to actually commit resources, or else the Alchemist just continues to free farm. Bottom lane, a little bit of chip.
They're not slowing down the Lifestealer's farm at all. He's still well above 30 CS in this early game.
The only concern is just how much that CS really balances out with IGV, with the net worth.
Well, Alchemist isn't getting bounty runes, nor is he getting a lot of CS in the mid, and he's also not getting stacks. So I think it's going very, very well. This is not going to be a super hot Alchemist start. He doesn't even have any pieces of his armlet yet. Instead, going for the early raindrop on the Alch.
In July, what rune does... Okay, Lil's going to get himself an Illusion rune. Not exactly what he wants for a kill, but it may just be enough anyway. The Beetles are down. Burning has to help get rid of that. So in July can survive, but no. Lifestealer moves over. Gets one, then open wounds into Q under the tier 1 tower. Votus Pro currently flawless on the kill board at 4-0.
This offlane has just been a disaster for them. Q was trying to block the Lifestealer so he wouldn't have to... so he would try and save the Bat Rider, but then he just gave away his own life, and now the supports are really highly leveled. Like, I think Lil's Weaver has had a lot of success because his safe lane has just always gone their way. And he's almost level 5 as a support Weaver against a dual lane.
This kind of sacrifice makes more sense now from IGV. Just don't fully sack the offlane, let Burning pull it back, soak up some experience himself, get to his level 6, and let the Bat Rider have mid. Alchemist is still very happy to be inside the jungle. Now bottom lane, SD Disruption. Oh, okay. Well, it was nice until Burning gets initiated on. Solo doesn't die to the tower, just gets back to the other side of the tree line. And back to safety. But you're going to get more out of this laning phase without risking as much if you're IGV making this choice.
So what are IG Vitality going to do? They need to get some more gold and create some space for the Alchemist. So they can opt to push with the Luna. Seems to be their option at the moment.
They've got the tower. Attempted denial by Pasha. You don't want to be fighting this IGV. Support's coming in, but maybe if you got the Eclipse and an isolated Centaur, you actually find the kills before support can arrive from Virtus Pro. They TP'd into the tier 2 tower. That's why it took a little bit longer for both Lil and Solo to arrive.
That's a very greedy play from Pasha. He didn't have a Stampede. He used it to help the Lifestealer out on getting those kills on the bottom rune. And doesn't really quite have the items yet to tank a full Eclipse.
So now you give money to a Luna who's already top of the net worth by giving her a kill. And Luna, without that tier 1 tower in the top lane for Virtus Pro, has pretty much free reign of her own jungle once the Alchemist leaves it. A nice Solarity hit in the middle, but it's nice stun, but no follow-up.
Yeah, they just need to be concerned about the stacks on both sides. IG Vitality, they definitely need more ancient stacks, definitely need more stacks for the Bat Rider. Just stack, stack, stack.
So they can get that farm up. Obviously, the Alchemist had to soak up so much, so that's why the Bat Rider can't get the big injection, but once Global Silence is up, VP is still concerned. And you said it yourself, right? VP, they're the ones who are forced to actually attack. They're the ones that have to go into IGV, while IGV are very happy to sit back and passively farm.
At the same time, IG Vitality do need to open up the map a little bit more just so they have more places to farm. You don't see an Alk and a Luna pairing too often just because they occupy a lot of the same camps and do a lot of the same duty in terms of their farming patterns and techniques. So
well, can IGV start doing that once you have Global Silence? Is that the critical ability you're waiting for?
I would say it's actually more so nighttime that they need to wait for. Luna and Night Stalker both very, very strong. They're in nighttime. They need to be able to get the jumps on the heroes before they pop their instant cast Sakuchi, instant cast Rage. These defensive abilities are just way more likely to actually be used during the daytime before they can get the jump on them. So I think nighttime is going to be really nice for them.
Burning again is forced just to mop up the pieces when Virtus Pro started harassing their tier 1 towers.
Moonlight Shadows up. Looks like they're perhaps setting up for a move relatively soon. Last game, we were waiting on the Slaughter Blink Dagger. This game, not really too much to wait for, I suppose.
You go Stampede into Disruption with Catcher, and that's a very high Catcher as well from Solo. You went for a 2-3 build into this Shadow Demon.
And the same smoke around, and Sakata will retreat.
He's going down
to the south. Yeah.
It's the worst time, actually. A bounty rune gets scoured in the bottom river, so Sakata just goes down to grab it.
But they still get the ward, so at least getting something out of the smoke to perhaps gank a stack. But I think it's going to be very difficult for them to take a fight. They're wasting a lot of daytime. It's been 2.5 minutes of daytime and nothing really to show for it, while IG Vitality grouped up as a ball yet again, minus the Alchemist this time.
Here's the Moonlight Shadow. Does IGV realize what's going on? They're already in the way out. The Stampede forward. Darkness gets triggered out by Q. He will be disrupted up. The arrow's on the way in, and it actually misses. He walks to the side, but the Stomp from Pasha still does the work, so Night Stalker will die.
I still think that IG Vitality get way more out of this. Alchemist, he sees all those heroes on bottom, he's like, great, this is awesome.
That means I can farm up the mid lane. The Luna can TP up to the top lane in a second. That's a creep wave and a half, if not 2 full creep waves for her to farm.
And Burning got another stack off. Look at that large, juicy, ancient stack of double dragons.
Instead, though, IGV, they hold on the bottom lane. VP are forcing into the tier 1 town. Fortifications up. This all stall up a little bit of time. Paparazzi just loose and beam harassing. They still have to get rid of all these illusions. Plus the catapult. And Rams is coming in close, going to get silenced up in July, looking for that opening just to get a little bit closer, but what's he really going to find? Rams is the primary target. Lasso, while he's inside the rage, Q is able to get the distance as well, get rid of that bug. He's the lowest line for IGV, but it's Ramses in the tree line. They're surrounding him. Defensive disruption. The Firefly is still down. The silence of the Centaur. He can't stop, he can't control. Life Zealer's gone. Centaur will join him. Lil trying to pick up Burning in the back lines. Lil will be able to find the kill, but he's underneath the Sentry Ward. The damage! He's out of vision! So far away, 18 HP, no creep can't deny him, back into Invis, the Glaives won't bounce, Lil still hiding, looking to deny himself up to Roshan, but it will be the death of Solo, so 4 heroes from Virtus Pro will die here, 1 will be denied, and 3 will be properly killed. In fact, Lil actually still had a TP, he actually gets a TP back to base. There's still a 3-for-1 trade-off.
Well, they were not able to save that lifesteal there. No Stampede used, and that's a fight that you do not want to lose. This is them pressuring 5-on-4. They really wanted the T1 tower, but IG with a staunch defense there, and that is pretty much just the way for Alchemist Radiance. And like,
he's
normally
the fifth
losing
you
a fight is
mentioned.
bad, but losing a fight like that while being outnumbered.
Yeah. It's the fifth one you mentioned. When you can actually fight 5v4, hold your tier 1 tower, and you get better trade-offs.
That was even like pretty good play by Lil too. He tanked most of the clips and then time walked it off, or time lapsed it off. But the Lifestealer dying too early in the fight, and I think Batrider came from the right angle.
This Alchemist are getting so fat. 9k net worth, the highest over on VP belongs to no one at 5.6.
Yeah, now it's nighttime. How did they actually get the jump? Now Lifestealer actually has to be scared because they jumped him first the last fight. And if he gets silenced, you're going to have to blow Disruption early, and then he's going to be in a terrible position just waiting to get lassoed into IG's gripping hands.
It's kind of like that odd time right for VP. VP are normally used to pushing that tier 1 tower on bot with just the Lifestealer +1. Well, yeah, initiation with Disruption. Arrow flies over, is able to connect. Global Silence. The follow-up is there, so there's no Starfall. There's no burst damage, but at the same time, Alchemist doesn't have his Chemical Rage. TP support's on the way over, so the Alchemist will drop. Burning couldn't arrive in time.
That's a huge kill for them. And maybe just not expecting them to have Sentry Wards with that smoke. It's not really something that you expect from the Alchemist, especially when they took the fight on the bottom side of the map. You'd expect them to have more vision around there, maybe the one right next to Roshan.
You still lose the tier 1 tower on bot. Trade-off is Lil doing heavy damage to the top. Pasha's holding behind him with a little bit of extra support. Okay, the trade-off will actually be a tier 1 tower in mid too.
I like this Hurricane Pike pickup from the Luna. Last game he went for a Yasha Manta first, but this game he can just rely on the Alchemist to farm and do the majority of the damage, maybe even get pulled and Ags later. And all they need to do is kite the Lifestealer. That's one thing that they did not do well last game at all, because the Force Staff came much, much later.
IGV have to protect this stack of theirs. Sakatar's moving over right now. Paparazzi can sit on the hill and do his little thing. He's got 4 points up in Glaives. The dream timing for Luna, and of course the normal build. But you want most of this to go into the Alchemist. That's just a huge injection of money. He finished up the Radiance flying on the Courier at the moment. But everybody just gets a little bit of experience from it. Oh, he's actually giving the rest to Luna. Okay, so Luna will take everything else straight.
Yeah, he already has the Radiance, so he can power farm anywhere he wants, pretty much.
Okay, I take it all back. He's now taking almost every single one apart from one of the Black Dragons.
And on the flip side, we have no one who just completed his Scepter.
I don't know if that was intentional, or if the Luna's just getting frustrated. The Alchemist was taking his last as he force-staffed him out. Trying to get him away from the Ancients. Bottom lane rotation, Ramsey's very much isolated. The Stampede trying to get him into the tree lines so he can TP out under the cover of Rage. Lasso is the only thing in July, can't get there in time. So the Stampede movement speed gets him away from the initiation.
What a timely scan too. They scanned a little bit to the right of Observer Ward, kind of where Luna is right now, and it hit red. As soon as he did that, he trucked it to the right side. Only thing that can stop him is Lasso at the moment.
But Batrider just didn't have the speed. He went for the drums and tranquils, doesn't have the blink dagger up just yet. But IGV are going to start their push with a Radiance up. VP won't really want to be fighting into this.
Yeah, only 1,000 gold behind for VP. That's, I would say, a big victory for them, being up versus an Alchemist. I think like 4,000 is probably par at this point versus an Alch.
As long as they can keep him down. No one was able to find a lot of farm too. He jumped into the jungle for a short period of time and now sits at 7.5k.
Yeah, it's super important that Mirana has this amount of farm and is able to creep skip as much as she is doing right now, because Lifestealer, he can't get kited. He needs a secondary source of damage, a little bit from the Weaver, but mostly from the Mirana.
Interesting smoke maneuver. So IGV are already using the Alchemist as bait. Solo came in close to Sakatar in the mid, but doesn't find his opening. And in July, Firefly, they force-staff him, but the lead. Global Silence, he'd come out just a fraction of a second earlier there from Burning to stop that escape from no one. So now with Global Silence down, IGV are the ones on the defense.
Whew, that was close. Global Silence maybe came out 1 second earlier, they would have gotten that kill, but VP now very willing to take a fight. Blink Dagger on Centaur. Infest.
They have to get out of the jungle.
Yeah, they got to get out. He has a TP scroll. He could haste over and maybe play a little bit greedy. Moonlight Shadow, they are set up. Luna looks to be the target that they would want to kill, but they are positioned so well on the right side that it's very difficult to blink across that T2 tower.
Alchemist has already left. Like, he pinged down before VP started attacking the tier 2, saying, I'm not involved in this. I'm going to go down, I'm going to farm bottom lane, going to farm up the Radiant jungle. This is not the time to fight.
Injuly is on the south side of the secret shop, just looking to get one of the backline supports. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger yet, so his angle of attack is very difficult. They also don't have Darkness up, which makes it much more difficult for VP to be caught by surprise.
That's why they're using the Hurricane Pike. Like, Luna was the one that tried to push him in before. It's like, you're not going to get there in time. Let me give you a nudge. Now, Stampede, nice Hurricane Pike away from the Luna, burning, going to be caught out, nice little stomp. So Batrider as well as the Silencer will fall. Courier as well, very low on life, it's got the BTs for the Alchemist. Was flying back down to him, so the BTs do reach the Alchemist.
That's not a fight that they should have been looking to take at all. Alchemist, as you mentioned, had already TP'd on the bottom lane. They don't have a couple of their ultis up, and maybe like just having one hero out that you can force stab just to waste a little bit more of their time. But ideally, Alchemist would be beating on towers, stealing some stacks, and not losing a T2 and 2 heroes on the side of IG.
And then actually gets to push the gold up the way of VP. As you see them getting the advantage in the trades, the biggest experience gain they've had. Advantage they've had so far in this matchup.
And Weaver is also transitioning very nicely into a core. So Lifestealer, Luna, these won't be the biggest players in the game perhaps when it gets late.
And IGV, they need a better answer. Straight up farming isn't going to do it for you at the moment. But how do you force a fight with what you've got? You got to find space for Injuly, but Injuly, I suppose he's forced down to the bottom lane to find this farm. But Alchemist is just soaking up so much on the map.
They might go for a kill on Lil.
Well, the Alchemist moves in first. You do have that little rotating Night Stalker. Going to trigger up Darkness. Needs to get that instant silence. Doesn't have it. Sentry Ward's down, so they see where he runs, but into the trees. Alchemist will stun himself as Lil, even Armor bugs him up and tries to turn and do some damage. Support's rotating in for VP, but it's Q who's left behind trying to get rid of the bug and then start his TP. All of that took way too long. And the Night Stalker burns his Darkness as well as his life.
And another big wasted rotation from IG Vitality.
Ramsey's going into the mid. If he really thinks he can kill off the Luna, but slips in behind the lines.
Now they just need to prioritize the blink on the Batrider. Like, these ganks are just way too sloppy, and Weaver, probably unbeknownst to IG Vitality, is not building the Lincolns, so he can be a prime lasso target.
But with that diffusal, now Silencer doesn't really do that much to him.
Nor Night Stalker. So I actually do think you lasso him. You might have to lasso the Lifestealer, however, during the Rage, so your team doesn't get destroyed.
You talk about the issue that almost every single team has had with Virtus Pro. What do I do when Lil plays as Weaver? Easy damage to kill the Batrider. Like, do I really want to commit that many abilities for, like, Lil Weaver?
Probably. You have 4 staffs for the Lifestealer, but they just need their lanes to be pushed out a little bit more. It's super safe just farming out with Alchemist, Radiance Illusions. You're at very little risk of dying unless they smoke past them, but right now it's just all of IG Vitality trying to farm as much as they can on the map.
Q's making his rotation. He's going to find a courier. That's actually got a Tome of Knowledge plus the Yasha on it. As he missed his time to attack, wasn't ready to see it, so all of this will be delivered. So VP will have the bottom tower.
So now Paparazzi is actually on the Radiant side of the map, farming the Radiant jungle. So they're still getting a decent amount of gold, but not enough to overcome this lead in VP. It looks like
he needs another 500. He needs his BKB before this fight begins, but VP are ready to go.
No one's even there.
They have to start TPing back now. So the Luna will arrive. Quick glyph, but the tower's already down to 2/3 life, burning with a little quick curse over on Ramses. Doesn't have a way to break free. So they will force him back out of the bot lane. And the Mana Style has managed to be farmed up on the Alchemist, so the split push is going to slowly begin for IGV. And that's something which VP doesn't have a very quick and easy answer to. They can get rid of the creep waves with the Mirana, of course.
Their cores are very efficient at farming, though. So I wouldn't worry about it too much over VP just yet.
Maybe once some BTs are picked up, VP will feel more comfortable with it.
Yep, but the net worth by the Batrider.
They found Pasha out of position, so In July runs in. Flame Break is going to keep him there. The lasso will be committed. Maybe they're worried about Stampede escape or something along those lines, but they get themselves a bit of a freebie thanks to the Observer Ward that saw everything just above the secret shop.
And finally, In July will have his Blink Dagger.
That took way too long, but it's still 22 minutes. It's the fact he's just been so close to it for so long. Moonlight Shadow from VP. Looks like it's time for them to try and have a crack at Roshan. They look for the Ancients with an arrow. The Observe Ward will see Burning as the Starfall. Well, it misses to start with, but Burning's still very fragile, so easy to kill, even with missed abilities. But now IGV understand that VP are looking down towards Roshan.
And a very underrated part about Weaver is that his bugs are very, very good against Roshan, just tanking a lot of hits and reducing his armor. He's a natural medallion carrier that certainly aids. And IG Vitality looks like they're trying to group up to take out this.
They're too late.
Rally them out of Roche, but yeah.
They're actually just too late.
They're scanning right inside the Roche pit, and of course it pings green because it doesn't.
Yeah, you can't scan Roshan. So the smoke arrives, but it's all too late. So the Alchemist SD illusions walk straight back through IGV.
And no one is the one that they're looking to gank, but he already has Aegis. This could be a disaster if they initiate on him.
And they can't initiate. Lasso was down. At the time Roshan died, it was still on cooldown for another 18 seconds. And when they had a small moment there to initiate a Mirana, it was still on cooldown for another 10.
That's a byproduct of them losing so many towers. All the T1s and the T2s on the bottom side of the map.
They have an opening for Ramses. They don't see him.
Small.
The Observer Ward does, but it's already too late. In July, turn to the right, so they're going to 4-staff him down with a Blink Dagger. He still can't get in range. IGV, they're trying. They're trying, but they just can't find that opening against VP.
Just a tick too slow on every mark. And wow, Mirana is very farmed. She had, what, 16, 17 minute ags into a very quick blink and BKB.
At the same time, Lil completes up an entire Solar Crest. There's so much maneuverability coming out from Virtus Pro.
And the IG cores are also very hesitant about split pushing out lanes, knowing that an Infest Bomb could always await them.
There's still one major problem, which is there for VP. Pushing into the high ground is not the easiest thing in the world, but also keeping the Alchemist from gaining net worth. Yeah. Also quite difficult. If they shut down everyone else, then it probably won't matter as much. But the Luna is still sitting at the second highest net worth on the field.
And In July looking to cut a creep wave. They want to be able to push with his Aegis, and they have no creeps. And if he cuts this wave, that's going to buy them a good few minutes of time. There is that one creep wave that's heading to them, but all they need to do is clear that out. But the last time they pushed, they used a glyph very, very late, so their T3 is still at half HP.
Maybe it is enough to chip it.
Yeah, this one wave has to die for IG Vitality.
Alchemist is already coming back. TP's very defensively, so he doesn't just get the Acid Spray down straight away, but able to send the Mantra Illusions in. No one. Double Starfall. Almost enough to kill off the Illusions. Now the creep wave is gone. As you said, there is no secondary wave. So VP, can they keep the attack going just long enough? Keep that back door off? No, they can't.
Not if Angeli's there again. Nice. And a second TP will scare him away.
He didn't actually have his Firefly this time around, so the creep wave didn't follow or burn. But the top lane was pressured in. That's where the Alchemist continued to find his farm. Now 700 away from having the Octarine.
But so that's a good half of the Aegis already wasted by some clever creep cutting. Ooh, Infest inside the Mirana.
That's a different target, but when she's got Blink and Leap, she's the best one to get to the front lines next to the Centaur.
And that's the same as that reward that was placed last game. And will gain a lot of vision and no signs of a gem yet. And daytime they have to be very, very scared. And Angeli's not there to creep cut this time. Neither are the Alchemist Illusions. So this time with, 2 minutes left on the Aegis, looks like it's going to be a huge brawl. This T3 is too low for them to ignore.
Yeah, IGV's getting ready to fight. The arrow only hits on one of the Illusions. With a Flame Break, they push no one in close. Starts taking that tick damage from the Flame Break. Watch that count timer on the Aegis. Not too much longer. As it sprays off cooldown in 2 seconds as well, so here starts your concoction. Destroys it out, ends up actually hitting the Mirana with the curse and the flame break. No one's dropping down low, but remember, it's as Aegis Timor that will trigger, but Pasha initiates while the Mirana is down. They turn on the Eclipse, now disengage from Virtus Pro, trying to run away. The Centaur will of course die, they only lasso onto Ramses. His Infest is off cooldown, he needs a target, that's why no one's coming in close. He'll BKB and take him away. Solo with the disruption, keeping Q out. Paparazzi, a quick Hurricane Pike will dodge the arrow. But Centaur did drop pretty quickly, and that could be more disastrous for Virtus Pro if IGV could control and kill the Lifestealer.
And too much burn damage. Their lineup isn't really equipped to siege high ground. Normally, you either want like a really capable siege engine and with the Shadow Demon Illusions, but neither Lifestealer nor Mirana are really good targets. Maybe the Centaur, if you were more farmed, you could just send Return Illusions. Actually, you can't do that anymore. So, yeah, they don't have a really good way to siege high ground. Or you have Infinite Sustain with like a mech pipe, so you can tank these Alchemist Illusions. But the Alchemist is like almost double the net worth of most people in the game. So it's no easy task, especially with their heroes, to take these illusions down and just not get burned down before you even start the fight. Mirana had already lost her Aegis.
As this Alchemist starts to get closer, or they find an opening, it's Weaver. Q, the dust will come, but Lil is on the run away from this fight. But as the Alchemist gets 6-slotted, every single person from IGV, every time they get an Aegis, that's that new power spike. Maybe not so huge when you look at like a Batrider's lasso effect, but getting the vision out from the Night Stalker, the global silence upgrade, having Luna having so much more damage with that Eclipse without having to put herself at risk all the time. Bottom lane, oh, that's a very quick death of Burning. No one and Weaver teaming up together and Burning too far out. Maybe thought he was still one.
Very easy kill. I wonder what Mirana's going to transition into next. Whether it's going to be like a Dagon EB build is pretty common, but I don't think it's particularly great at dealing with the Alchemist illusions, or perhaps a right-click build with Chrysalis, Butterfly, Maelstrom, one of those.
Would you go that way, or do you almost prefer like Magical Nuke, get rid of those Alch illusions nice and quick, keep your own up? Right now he's actually got the Void Stone on him.
Probably Magical Nuke, I think. I think even if he goes for a right-click build, they'll still lose out in the late game. Because of all the Ags pulling. Alchemist actually going for a Blade Mail.
It works really nicely for this situation.
Yeah. They don't have the best burst. Maybe if they get an arrow on him, they can kill him. But
he just turns on the Blade Mail. It's like, please fight me. Please Starfall.
I think the thing about the Alchemist too is he's like worried that they might lose the game right now. If they lose the game right now, then he can't save it for an AC, can't save it for a Shiva. So all he needs to do is they scan out Ramses. They know he's around there.
There's a smoke gank. Someone's taking their Ancients. They want to stop it. IGV on the move.
They still know that he's around there. He does have an Infest up, but going up this hill.
They're out of vision of the Observe Ward. Blink Lasso. They catch out the Weaver with a Lucent Beam. Hold him in position, actually committing the global silence. So they kill off the support Weaver. And instantly transition into a mid-push. IGV now on the aggressive. 30 minutes in has taken them this long to start beating into a tier 2 tower, but they're very quick when they do it.
And Lil's a significant chunk of their net worth, 10,000.
He can buy back. This is available. But then Ramses, okay, the question mark is here. Now, do VP actually have enough high ground defense? The Mirana's trying to build into a Lincoln Sphere, so right now she doesn't really have many stats, and with the stunts, Ramses has to rage and start the armlet toggle. This chip is working beautifully for IGV, and if they can bring down the tier 3 tower, Luna becomes so much more powerful. Look for these glaives to bounce around. You get a copy on the Alchemist, or at least you've got him. Pasha jumping in too. They push the Alchemist in deep, but with the Eclipse turning on, it's really only the illusions, but now the glaives will start doing their work as well. Fortifications being burnt, the arrow hits the Alchemist, push him further away, can't armlet toggle through it. IGV, they will be repelled, Burning will die. No one wants to get more kills, however, with the slow one in July. Is that Diffuser Blade charge going to work? IGV lose 3, and only one of them has buyback, and that is the Alchemist.
And they didn't even get the melee rats. Still sitting at around 30% HP, but surely to be regioned up by the next time they go up that hill. And fortunately for IG Vitality, there is no Roshan respawn. It's about 10 minutes, 10, 15 seconds. So another couple minutes left.
Yep, 1.5. That should do it. Q, quick TP out. Lil's going to find him. But right now, VP want to attack into the mid lane. If they possibly can do it, or they rotate into the bottom. That tower is very, very low, so Ramsey can do it by himself. But the rest of VP will come. Fortification triggered with the tower at 17 HP. And IGV, they'll buy back now on the Alchemist. So the tower will fall.
That's with
But VP,
20 seconds left on his buyback.
Yeah, they just want to make sure this Rax doesn't get hurt. And he can get a decent amount of the money back anyway through greed.
But now VP will control that secret shop area. They don't have that observer reward that they normally have to the north side of the shop.
So let's actually have a quick look back at this. So this is the Mirana defense. This is no one. Trying to keep everybody out. Hits the sweetest arrow possible. And then the chase is good. Realizing too he can go for that third.
Yeah, they just didn't have much left in the tank after that. So, good few minutes before nighttime is up. IG Vitality actually have not been making the best use of it. But at the same time, VP's just been pressuring them a lot during the daytime. But have to stay around the Roche pit. We see the Ags coming out on Pasha very, very soon. He still does not have a way to get out of the global, so it doesn't seem to be the biggest threat yet. But now with Roshan respawning with fairly high certainty, expect more action to be headed around there.
That's why IGV is already on the hunt. But most of Firefly was burnt out by In July, looking for someone in the tree line. The scan goes out from Virtus Pro on top of Roshan. Now burning, sees Roshan, actually starts the fight. And Parazzi's going to just push himself into the pit now. There's a lot of vision from Virtus Pro. They already have the Observer Ward watching over the mouth of the entrance to Roshan. And a TP up. The BT just got scouted out. He did it in, like, literally on top of the Radiant Creep Wave. So VP know if they want to slip into Roshan, they can do so.
Versus Bat.
Yeah.
Very, very tough.
Very dangerous.
But he's not using the Alchemist Illusions to really push out the lanes. So despite having a very farmed Alchemist, the lanes are generally in VP's favor.
It's kind of surprised he didn't use it before. Like you attack the top lane, you then trigger it or push out. Instead, they smoke in the mid. They're behind the Luna. So Paparazzi becomes the bait. And are they actually making a play where Luna pushes the mid and then they turn this into a Rax trade-off? Is that what's actually coming out at the moment?
The creep wave is very, very far away. And they do have that in Reserve Reward. Doesn't see anyone yet. They could catch out Pasha, though.
Here's the creep wave.
Do they have enough
it arrives,
to backdoor?
they go in, they look, and they see Solo, so they initiate. They want that SD down. They're going to get it. Buyback is available, but the Rax starts to be assaulted. Moonlight Shadow's been triggered. Pasha jump in with the stun over on Luna. She didn't get a BKB off. Now with the Global Silence, the melee Rax is down. IGV, you want to get out of here with as few casualties as possible, but the Alchemist, he can't do it. He's perched up. He just can't run. The Eclipse will turn on. The damage with the Glaives is doing some work. 2 down for Virtus Pro without buybacks. But Paparazzi starts his TP. They can't get the arrow. No one can't turn. There's a lot of gunk in that system. So melee Rax claimed by IGV, and they lose the Alchemist without buyback.
Man, IGV really liked that play. Were you watching the China qualifiers, how they beat LGD? That's a very similar play. They were on Dire. They smoked up with the Rax down and just smoked straight into their base. A very unexpected play. And Solo took that.
He thought he could defend it. 1 point Shadow Poison, pull the creep wave back, couple of illusions. It would have been enough to stall them.
Yeah, if they got that Luna kill, it would have been VP would have been very happy with that. But this is why Batrider's such a top pick. Like the simple napalm on the Mirana. Look at her turn. She's like, oh, I can't.
Oh, and then the vision appears. Fraction of a second too late.
The napalm just makes it so much harder for you to turn and cast your spells like that, though. It's such a nuisance. It's kind of like getting mini stunned every time.
Got to remember that vision range too. That was actually kind of disgusting.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you want to sacrifice your Alchemist life for that. That's the second consecutive fight that he's died, and Ramses will start on Roshan. They don't have the Weaver there for the minus armor, so it's going to go down a bit slower.
Are they anywhere nearby? Like IGV are a long way out.
They suspect it right now, but I think they're a little bit too far away. Weaver's already closing in, but Roshan's at 25% HP.
They have the smoke for extra movement speed, but it's too late. So the bugs all arrive, the arrow flies up, so they understand what's going on, and then instantly Stampede over the hills. They want to get a kill. Pasha missing on the stomp. IGV, they got some distance. Pasha doing some chip damage to Burning, but it's still not enough to find the kill. Everyone is out for IGV, Courier included.
If you think Firefly is good.
Stampede balance, boys.
Wow, I'm surprised they just didn't lose everyone. That's just not something that you think, oh, Rocha is, oh wait, they're on top of our Ancients.
That's
already.
the 4 stamps you're talking about. You've got the 2 4 stamps plus the Hurricane Pike up and running. And you've got the Aghanim's, which has been gifted to the Night Stalker. So now there's the extra vision. The first Ags has been gifted. So with this vision from Q, they can see the stampeding targets running at them.
Super important. I think they would have just lost the silencer immediately on the back of the fight. So who do you give Ags next to?
It's got to be the Lunar upgrade, right? Like, you need more damage out of her.
Probably, but you also could use a control out from the Batrider.
The double lasso?
Yeah. That could be useful.
Well, for now, IGV will just take the useful kill of the tier 2 tower on bot. Creep Wave's coming in a little bit late, so it may not matter. The mid lane keeps pushing in. VP trying to get some space. It's Lil who's taking care of the top. He's so close to that Aghanim Scepter. Another 300 gold and he's got it, but IGV already starting the attack. Okay, he's going to actually sell up so he can get the Aghanim Scepter for this fight. Keep your eyes over on that Weaver. Bottom tier 3 tower still being chipped out. And they look for a target. They find one. Pasha in July blinks away. They get the concoction, start keeping the Centaur out. And now with the Blade Mail, they don't want to really fight into this, or do they? Rage expanded. BKB down for the Luna. Arrow again will fly astray. And Sakata attacking into the tier 3 tower.
Very dangerous without the BKB on the Luna. And they still have the Aegis on the side of VP, remember. So deciding to cut the wall. They could lose everyone here if they decided to press.
They want to fight from the high ground. They want to fight from a better position. They know the mid lane's going to push in anyway. So the arrow goes for a bit of a scout. They see a little bit of the back lines. But will they get more? Ramsey stands on the front lines. Now is Rage going to wear off with the Eclipse. They need to come in with the Starfall. Is it going to be enough damage? The Glaives bounce around. VP's taking too much damage. They need to bail out of here. Ramses is down. You've brought down the Alchemist too, but you lose Lil in the tree line. And IGV with a buyback coming out from the Alchemist. He actually TP'd into the creep wave. They're not all out home and hosed yet. No one caught. The Aegis the Immortal will trigger. His blink deck will be off cooldown as he comes back to life again. Can they control him? The BKB, the leap to Starfall. He needs more speed, he needs more distance. 2 seconds, 1 second, the urn charges on him. He can't blink into the tree lines. Even if the BTs are available for him, he's on the run, wasting the time of Virtus Pro. While they chase him, they're not taking racks. TP begins, but the Losing Beam will cancel it. No one is down. Bites back straight away. Here to defend the bottom lane. That's where the Alchemist is pressuring. The creep wave, however, is not inside the base. So the backdoor regeneration is stopping IGV from taking the objective they want dearly.
And only 25 seconds left on the lifesteal respawn. This might not be enough for IG Vitality to seal the deal.
They may just try and force a global silence off cooldown in 20 seconds time. They'll have that, but the smoke is over on Solo as well as Pasha. They want the opening. Fortification buys more time. No one. Blink into Starfall, leap straight back out again, try and slow down the creep wave, but now the Glaives, they really start having a big effect. Pasha doesn't actually get the stomp off, the BKB protects him, and Luna, the TP away, gets what he wants, away with murder. Burning will die, but it's an acceptable casualty. The arrow, dodging at the last second. Thanks to the TP completion, IGV get out. Burning, your only sacrifice.
Oh, that was what a pleasure to watch IG Vitality push high ground like that. And the BKB dodge from the Luna, all eyes on the melee Rex, and she force-tapped a little bit away just so she could TP it out safely, making great use of that BKB. And they had such a small window to do that. And it's very similar to how VP pushed high ground and Alchemist bought back with 20 seconds left on his respawn timer. And maybe they should have done the same. Actually, they didn't have it in life stealer, but it was still just a tiny window for them to work with.
IGV, they're playing some of the smartest Dota we've seen of them this entire Boston Major. Finally, the Alchemist is going to 6-slot himself out. So while he might think about a Moonshard, he ends up selling off the Blade Mail, picks up the Shiva's Guard instead. Already gave one Aghanim Scepter over, so one for me, one for you.
And maybe the Batrider isn't the best idea because of the time lapse. He used a time lapse on the last target last fight. It didn't end up saving the lifestealer, but it was still
VP's
nice
coming.
touch.
Only the Alchemist illusions they run through. Oh no! No one initiated on the Alchemist illusion. The one that went backwards. It didn't break anything, but it was the Moonlight Shadows, so they can't really know it like you do with smoke.
Yeah, and IG Vitality, they just need to weather the storm during the daytime, or just wait for Night Stalker ult to be up. It's so hard for VP to take a fight. It's very hard to jump the Silencer. It's very hard to jump the Luna before she pops her BKB.
And she's going to complete a Skadi pretty soon as well, so then she's going to have even more sustain.
Yep. Yes, she is. And Lifestealer, this is about the time where you don't really feel as effective as a Lifestealer just because everyone else has their items and scales so much better. Luna has +6 glaives, and what does Lifestealer have? Just a little bit of lifesteal from the feast. That's percentage based, but in terms of straight scaling, not that much, especially when he's forced to go much more defensive with the AC. No Basher, no Abyssal, no MKB.
So IGV, the ones in control, but well, we already felt like we had that position before. This is a very different scenario, however.
This is much safer for them because they have so much more wiggle room. They have much more wiggle room because they have a lot more farm, and also they don't have the amp damage to instantly kill people. The Weaver takes a lot more time to ramp up with the Swarm and double hit from Sakuchi. Like, all these take a lot more time, and he just doesn't have the right click damage.
Didn't even see a little bit really that effective. I thought with the Aghanim Scepter it was IGV who were going to be denied the kill, but never even felt the influence of that Ags in the last fight.
Yeah, it briefly broke the lasso, but it suffers in the fact that what if everyone on your team is taking damage? What if Luna is just cleaving everyone down? What if everyone's getting hit by Eclipse with no creeps around? She can only do so much. And if you do that, you can't actually time-lapse yourself, so you can't really go in as deep as you want to. The cooldown's very low, but not low enough to use it twice in that short of a span.
IGV's coming once more. The top lane's pushing out for them. It's not as far out as they would like.
It's nighttime though. This is where they just need to. It's very easy for VP to make a mistake, and it's very hard for IG Vitality to be caught off guard now. And then they can just wait it out until the Roche spawn if they really want to feel safe. But in the meantime, if they don't, they can just try and pressure with this superior vision and the gem up on the Night Stalker.
They can wait 50 gold now. In fact, now no gold, because Alchemist found a bounty rune. The secondary Ags is on its way. And we'll see who he chooses. Is it going to be the control of the Batrider? Is it the increase of the magical damage of the Luna, not to mention the increase of stats that come along with it?
I think the Luna. That Eclipse is ridiculous. Although, maybe you don't want to all-in on it because of the Centaur ultimate. He can just use it to somewhat counter the Eclipse.
Injuly is hugging. He wants it. Him. It's the Batrider. So the Batrider is now just over 1900 in his life with the Ether Lens and the double lasso. VP could find both of their cores taken out by this, and that's what IGV are looking for.
And how do VP fend off this? First, they're trying to set up with an observer ward right outside their base. That's how oppressive the one right next to their T3 tower. That's how oppressive the Night Stalker vision is. Like, you just can't see anything.
But that's going to go down the second Night Stalker gets in close. VP saw the TP of the Alchemist. Again, it's been happening a lot from Sakata. He just keeps jumping back into the lane in perfect vision. And but VP come out. They look for a fight. They think there's an opportunity where the fight will be 4v5.
And no BKB on the Batrider, so maybe he can be bursted down by the Mirana. I think that's a hero that you actually want to kill very early on in the fight, or else Napalm and the Flame Break is just very difficult to maneuver around in the fights.
But without counter push, no one's been having to be expending his double Starfall just to get rid of a creep wave.
Yep.
And even that's not effective enough.
Let's see if Injuly can get a jump over here.
I was hoping for one.
Yeah, they need to deward that observer ward. I don't think that Night Stalker has caught glimpse of it. He hasn't been in gem range just yet.
Yeah, it's too far away. A little bit deceptive, where his night vision is actually bigger than the true side of the gem.
And Burning dropping some vision on the right side just in case VP wrap around, but with the Night Stalker vision and no smoke, it should be very clear as to where they are.
It's chip time. If VP can defend this, maybe they have a chance. Roshan's a minute away, but they'll need to win this fight pretty convincingly in order to do such a thing. And they're still having the issue of the other lane's bottom and mid pushing in. Alchemist takes a lot of damage with the stuns. Global Silence being used. So allow Alchemist to retreat away. Not to mention SD Illusion's actually working really well, actually copying the Luna, fighting against him. Now the lasso is out, but quickly again, Lil on the money. Able to get that time lapse out thanks to the Aghanim Scepter. Useful for his allies. And IGV will back out. They're playing safe.
They cannot underestimate the Soul Catcher. The Soul Catcher almost killed Alchemist. 50% more damage from this heavy of a burst from Mirana can just drop you. And it's not like he has BKB. It's not like any of his teammates have Glimmer Capes. So if he takes burst, he's just going to straight up die.
Very problematic. IGV, they know what's at stake. There's no reason to risk the fight. They back out. They wait for the next Roshan, which now will be spawned up. So they can grab the Aegis Immortal. This will give them a little bit more of a license to push and a little bit more of a safety net with potentially the Luna is where your eyes can go for this. Maybe Burning. He's taking a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure who you give it to. I think the cores are actually just too farmed.
Luna would like have to drop a Mana Star in order to pick it up herself.
Yeah, she dropped her Pike, but the Pike has been pretty important for her.
Q will take the cheese. Or maybe they just wait for her to die. Burning is now the carrier of the Hurricane Pike.
And now they have to fend off one heavy lane seed from these two farm heroes, as well as Manta Illusions on both of the side lanes. Shadow Demon is actually pretty good against this. He can disrupt the Manta Illusions and have pretty strong ones himself, but their base is just in shambles right now.
Looks like Sakata's actually building a different item. I think that's actually... Is he going for a heart? Normally you think maybe he's just going to go for another Aghanim Scepter with another 5k gold sitting in his bank account.
It could be an Abyssal.
I think it's only... Yeah, that would work.
It's more likely to be an Abyssal, because... Or else you'd buy... yeah, I think it's Abyssal.
We're going off the Vid Booster, which is on the Dire Courier. That's what we're looking at the moment.
I don't think you want to get a heart versus the Life Stealer.
It's a straight Abyssal Blade.
So, this way, they can keep the Life Stealer off of the Luna. Now that he has MKB, the Luna has to be slightly worried about getting bursted down. Not too worried, though.
Luna's got to start worrying about being copied all the time. Her illusions are doing more work right now, and here it is again. Solo blinks in, but the Bat Rider, the lasso, he caught two, combining over the Global Silence. Time-lapse can only save one, and well, Pasha was not that one, but Burning, the damage output against the SD Illusions. They go back in again for the fight, maybe with the Rage Life Stealer and the Eclipse damage. He tanks through most of it. Pasha back in after the buyback, gets it hung over on the Luna, and IGV are in retreat. They force Staff out. Sakata, is there enough damage? He only triggers the Lincoln Sphere with concoction. So IGV, they lose 3. None of them have buyback. It's no one with a triple kill. But the lanes are in disarray. The mid and the bottom still pushing heavily.
And this is pretty tense. Like, even at the start of the fight, did you see how Shadow Demon just blinked in the middle of them down the hill and disrupted a Luna? Because he knows that if he gets that off, he's just doing so much damage at the fight. And they were able to kill the Luna. They tank the Eclipse very, very easily. The Stampede actually just makes them almost unkillable, so that Life Stealer can just straight run in on the Luna and have 100% uptime on her.
So this 5-man maneuver from IGV, we've seen it fail, and we know why it fails. What's the game plan? Is it split? Like, obviously you got to survive this push to start with.
First you force out a Luna buyback. Once you force out a Luna buyback, you can try and kill her one more time, which I think can easily be done.
Oh, VP, here they come in. They look at the range racks. Arrow flies in. Burning, don't play a game of catch. Manages to dodge it, but the bottom racks completely mopped up. VP started this whole shebang about 25 minutes ago, and now they have to get more. 40 seconds until Alchemist is up. Luna still not going to buy back. IGV, they're going to accept the casualty of 2 lanes of racks. Thanks to Tier 2 tower up on top lane, VP can't go for much more unless they are thinking about going for Tier 4 towers. But no, they take the melee and they're going to retreat. This will balance out the lanes for them.
And I don't really know who has the lead right now. IG Vitality, Alchemist has been capped for quite some time now, and their cores are dying to this very, very farm Life Stealer, and they can still push out the lanes because of the Mirana, and they can tank in the team fight because of the Centaur. So that fight, there was a very good last up in the Bat Rider, but time lapse gets rid of one.
And the fact you actually had the instant buyback available for Pasha, VP were ready. They knew what they had to sacrifice to win that fight.
And that was with the help of the Aegis. So I think they actually just need to straight kill the Shadow Demon at the start. Shadow Demon or Last Wing of the Weaver would both be pretty good for them. If they can actually keep 2 heroes inside the lasso and burst them down with a BKB Eclipse, I think they can win the fight.
Well, right now they're looking for a kill. 4-man smoke maneuver. The Alchemist, the only one not invited to be involved, but he can BT into the lane. Maybe not so much when you got Mirana and Lifestealer Illusions. Just, well, if you can't find an army of real people, send in the copies.
Well, now they use Moonlight Shadow, fully expecting a gank, and
is Q walking in? He's got the Gem of True Sight. And remember, this is nighttime, so Q has the better vision. Sees Lil jumping out. Okay, someone's going to have to get rid of that Observer Ward.
Yeah, no one has a Quelling Blade this late.
Well, there's a jump in. Solo once again gets it. And to get the copies of the Luna. They're bailing out with the Purge over on the Luna. The BKB will protect it from everything they threw at him, but that's the BKB down for Luna. And again, IGV forced to disengage VP with a better start to the team fights.
He has to BKB then. If he doesn't, he might get arrowed and then just die. And that would just put IG Vitality in too much of a compromising position. But now they have 35 seconds without the BKB up on the Luna. But you just see how vulnerable it is and how crucial it is for the Shadow Demon to jump on the Luna and get that disruption off as soon as possible.
Solo almost feels like the modern day Venomancer. If I get my Nova off, life is great. If I get my disruption off, life is great.
Yeah, it just puts way too much pressure on the side of IG Vitality to really feel like they're ahead if that's the way the fight starts off.
All right, IGV, are you going to try and fight this? The tier 2 tower has already dropped. They're looping in around the side. VP does have all 5 arrows coming down as well as the bugs. Paparazzi able to find the gap between both of them. With the 4 staffs, double 4 staffs, pushing in July forward. Now remember, he doesn't actually have the detection. The Gem of True Sight's over from the Night Stalker, and that's why Mirana E-Blade pops into July, losing so much life. But where is this initiation with the global silence? IGV won it. They Abyssa placed on the Lifestealer. Armlet is turned off, but now it's VP with the arrow. Find the Alchemist, push him away. He's got his stun, but they're both raged up. He'll try and dodge with the Mana Style. Won't be successful, but Saluna, she must do lifting. And the lasso, still not enough work. No one's dropping down low. They make more copies. Again, Solo with his blink into disruption, making more Lunas. But the front line, where's the damage? Luna's down. The Alchemist still surviving. The Weaver bugs making life difficult, not to mention Randy's still on his tail. Abyssal Blade back off cooldown. Buyback is here. Mirana on the front lines with the Acid Spray, dodging off with the Mana Style. Another stun. Finally, Solo's down. Sakata has done it. Maybe he can bring down Randy's. Yes, he can. A triple kill. Serve it up with cheese. IGV wants to keep going. Look for the opening. They found another one. It's Mirana leaping away. But with all these deaths, no buyback available for the Centaur. It's there for the Lifestealer. Ramses will expend the pennies. They have to defend this top lane.
Oh my god, Sakata played so damn well that fight, just kiting at critical HP throughout the entirety and getting the Lifestealer kill at the end. But with no buybacks on the table, Mega creeps within grasp.
But Solo gets more copies. He gets the copies of the Alchemist. In July, hunting. He's got the lasso available. Jumps in. He found his target. It's the ST. The time lapse. They'll end up saving him from the initiation. They have to keep doing more damage. This Rax must fall. Where's the opening? With the stun. Ramses is out. The Glaze is doing work. ST is down. No buyback available. The Rax have fallen. It's not Megas. There's still range Rax left in the mid as well as the bottom. IGV looking to remove that fact, but Alchemist. Ramses try and numb him down with the E-Blade pop with the infestation. They find the kill, but Luna still up and fighting. They're focusing on Ramses with a Glaze bouncing around. Lil waiting on the back lines. Buyback is here. Alchemist to the front lines. Paparazzi, hold it, take a picture. Will he get it? Lil, solo on life, running out. Q wants to finish him off. Almost found under the tower. He'll bring him down, but the Night Stalker sacrificed himself. Lil has his buyback available. Now it's the Alchemist on the run. Paparazzi needs to make more space, but you've lost the Alchemist into the tree line with a BKB. Is there a TP? There isn't one. No life available. And no buybacks. IGV with only the Batrider as well as the Silencer alive. They're on the ropes for VP.
And it's not even Megas. That one range Rex on the bottom and 100 seconds on both the heavy cores on IG Vitality.
But look at in July. He pushes in through the top lane. He's trying to get VP to look behind him.
He can't mega them himself.
He can't, but maybe there can be some defense. No one jumps in. There's your E-Blade pop. A quick push away. BT's is available in July. He has to give up the Ghost. He looks down at Lil, who's already knocking on the IGV well. And are they going? Yeah, they are. They're going for the GG push. And there it is. IGV will call it. VP will eliminate the Chinese Vitality from the Boston Major in a 2-0. But IGV, huge props. They put up one hell of a fight, more than anyone would have thought they could do up against Virtus Pro, a team many picked to win this whole thing, the whole Major.
They have to be very happy with their performance, IG Vitality, with the way they dragged that game number 2 on and almost claimed one win from them.
Amazing play, Virtus Pro. This is the start. It's risk central with this single elimination. One best of 3 goes wrong. It can all fall apart. They were so solid during the group stage. IGV.
They look happy.
Yeah. And they performed well. They had a terrific game and create wonderful memories from just the first series of day 1 of the main event of the Boston Major.
I mean, sure, but I think everybody is not complaining. The performance from IG, the fact that even IG are smiling, guys, that's just testament to how good that game was.
Yeah. They have to be very happy.
Toby, you need to get that smile off your face. You look like it's Christmas Day.
Man, casting good Dota. There's nothing like it. There really is nothing like it.
Toby's like, wait, am I? Oh, yeah, look at
All right, we'll leave you happy two alone. We're going to jump in because, I mean, the first words out of everyone here on the panel's mouth was, what a game. If Ted, that was the first thing you said. I mean, that
was great. I mean, it was a good series. The first game was good. I think, we showed some promise, and we thought, well, maybe IG can come back. And in game 2, they were this close. I mean, we were like, oh my god, they're going to do it. The ALK was a massive problem for VP, and they had what VP often have, which is that guy who can go and sit at the front and push, and there's nothing you can do. So yeah, they played brilliantly.
Oh, I mean, it was just, it feels cliche to say back and forth, folks, but it can't think of a better way to describe that.
I mean, that's exactly what it was. There was like some slight mistakes from both teams, like all over the place, but it's like these guys fought so hard. I mean, look at me. What can you really say after that? The top fight, like everybody buys back, and maybe they made a bit of like a too rushed, just like feeling like the pressure, needing to end the game there. But both teams showed so much fortitude in this match. It was like cliche, but super back and forth.
I mean, everyone really enjoyed watching IGV pushing that higher ground, Sheev. That was a pleasure to watch.
It really was. And we were like, okay, IGV, they won. And then Fog said, oh no, Alchemist is going to... If he dies, they lost. And they ended up losing. But it was just a testament to how closely skilled they could have been. They were so close. And I really hope we're going to see more of IGV with the full squad later on as well, because they definitely put up a really good fight and a really entertaining fight.
Some would say they showed vitality.
Nice. Get out.
Slacks has rubbed off on you.
But seriously, I mean, they have not lost a series 2-0 until now.
Yes.
Every single time.
Even that is so close.
Yeah, it was very close. Very close.
This almost felt like they won, honestly.
And we talked about it before, like if there was a way to take a game off VP, they gotta rush, they gotta be ahead really early on. But this was them actually being able to go toe-to-toe with Virtus Pro, the team that we've mentioned to be the team that can team fight best of all the teams here with their synergy that they have. And IG Vitality just did it too, They are on that level. They're at that level with that fighting, and they basically played the same game.
I was even a bit concerned for them too with like the Silencer Night Stalker pickup. I was like, okay, it's a bit greedy. Your two supports can't really do too much until like maybe nighttime Night Stalker start going. Alchemist can't really fight with your team either. Luna takes a bit of time to get there, but they made it work. The Alchemist gets a very early Radiance, and they're just able to make the fights happen, bringing it to VP. They just VP though. I think like Solo as well had a great performance every single time with his like blinks and like disruptions. He was disrupting the fight like in a crazy manner. And I was pointing at his items too, like to Shiva. I was actually laughing. Like you click on Solo and he has like 8 salves, 8 salves in an urn.
Team player.
He knows what they want to do. They wanted to keep the fights on the enemy side of the map and just keep the sustain going, which they lacked a bit in this.
So one of your concerns as well, Fog, while we have you, you were concerned that Night Stalker and Silencer would become a little redundant. You felt like that perhaps as the time went on, they wouldn't be able to do as much as their opponents. Was that the case in the end?
Clearly not. Like this was like, it was extremely close. It's really hard to really pin it down on one thing or anything like that. It's just overall VP playing incredibly well, IG playing incredibly well too. If I were in their positioning, especially IG, I'd be happy. You know, we saw their faces. They were going, they're like, we were this close. We were like one small step and we had it. I love this blade mail pickup too from Sakata. Ben kind of pointed out too that he felt like this is the chance, this is the spot where we could lose the game. And the blade mail actually did a lot. Like Ramses was almost deterred from actually hitting him, brought him down low. In this fight, it pretty much killed him because of how low he got. Rage was done. It was like interesting pickups that you don't really see too often. Like you could tell this team was fighting super hard into VP.
I mean, so Sakata's fight at the top when he basically kited the entire VP team on nothing, Manta dodging. It was brilliant. It's a kind of performance where you think this team, with their full roster, you know, with the preparation and everything, they really could have done a lot better. So they should be happy with how they've done. Obviously, going out on day one, first series isn't ideal, but they do have a pretty good excuse.
Yeah, sometimes when we look at brackets, we find ourselves saying, oh, that 2-0 doesn't say the whole story. This is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
I mean, the IGV story has been one of merit, I believe, that's the biggest takeaway for us. If I ask you guys to, you know, highlight some of the strengths, you know, the silver linings for IGV, it's that, I mean, Shiva, do we look at the fact that they operated with substitutes and still managed to almost take a game off of a top contender here at the Boston Major?
If you compare this to how they played in some of the games at the group stages, if they can do this in 2 days, give them a little bit more time, even with this current roster, which is obviously not the original one. Yeah. I mean, it just shows how fast these players can adjust and grow. And if they would have their normal roster, they can adjust in ways that, you know, we haven't even seen here. And I think they're a very strong team to look at in the future.
Do you guys think they need to be like VP need to look and think, guys, we almost
the game
to They must be thinking, did they play out of their skins or did we play awfully? Because I thought VP did well in the laning stage, but then when it came to the middle part of the game and the later parts, they looked shaky.
I think the big highlight for me is just the way VP was, or the way IGV was fighting. Their team fight was very good. The way they split up fight, like the specific one you mentioned with Sakata in the top lane, it was like him and Paparazzi. Like Paparazzi just walking up and hitting the guy once to put the Scotty effect, hits another guy. Just that kite maneuverability. They've definitely recognized like, how do we take this fight? We're going to see it right here in this replay too.
This is where the chaos began, right?
Yeah.
This is looking like, you know, IG are trying to back out, VP are in control, but then I don't know how.
The force staff usage is all over the place.
It was a crazy fight. The time lapses from Lil were just insane. Like he broke up that Batrider so much.
Yeah, and I actually normally when you see Lil on the Weaver, he is picked up in combination with the
he's on like 30 health.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
No Draw Ranger in this draft, I don't think it didn't have that big of an impact in the early game, Lil's Weaver, but later on, those time lapses, 16-second cooldown, is better than the disruption from the Shadow Demon, which is an 18-second cooldown, but you also move the target back to where it was originally. So
I love the way he gets a triple kill.
That combination of both Weaver and Shadow Demon, did that just make Injuli's life just a little bit too difficult on Batrider?
Very difficult. Too difficult. I mean, he did get the Aghanims. It's just, you know you're going to get countered, kind of, so you kind of have to try to work around that, which is really difficult to do because there's multiple people that can save the target that you're going for. But you still need to be the one to normally initiate. Yeah,
there's no longer that fear of the Batrider lasso.
Yeah, not as much anyway. Yeah, for sure. Something...
Scary stuff. I mean, it came down to these last couple of deaths. This is where, Fogged, you were sitting there going, if he dies here, it's over.
Yeah, no buybacks. The disruption was actually just it's so much damage. It's ridiculous. The illusions from the Luna were pretty much killing his entire team. Yeah. And they had to deal with them. Like, as soon as the SD would blink in and disrupt, you saw the Alchemist and Luna were like, we can't hit buildings anymore. We have to kill these illusions. They're just going to run to the backline and screw everything up.
Yeah. Well, we have got a treat for you guys. After all of that blood, sweat, and tears, no one is standing by with slacks. Let's see what he has to say as they continue to have not dropped a single game.
All right, everybody, I am here with the winner of the first series of the Boston Major. We got no one. Woo! I got to ask you something. Did you know about this poll that we ran? We asked everybody who they thought would win that series. This crowd said 100% that thought that you would win. How does that make you feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Damn you, no one. All right. So, in that game, you 100%, but still they put up a hell of a fight. Were you ever worried? I mean, that game 2 was looking pretty scary.
Yeah. We was like nervous a bit, and that's why we can lose. But next time, if we will not be nervous, we will win 20 minutes, I think.
Oh, jeez. All right. No one's got a little fire today. Good. So in both games, they gave you Life Stealer. When you get Life Stealer, do you just feel like you're automatically going to win the game?
Absolutely. Ban it. Ban it next time versus us.
Giving advice to enemy teams? Jeez. All right. So I'm interested in your opinion, No One. Next round is a very hype match, EG versus Wings. You guys have to play the winner. I want to know who you think is going to take that series.
If seriously, it's unpredictable because it's Wings and EG. They can play like TI champions and like us, I think. Throw the game. That's all. Everyone can win.
Either one can win? Are you going to be ready to face whoever wins?
I think yes.
All right. Well, I think so too. We'll be seeing more from No One. Guys, give it up for your 100% team. Woo! And I think I got something this time, guys. Back to you guys at the desk.
That was Slacks there with the ever talkative No One. I do like the attitude of VP. It is just like we saw it previously with Lil. We saw it now with No One. It's just kind of like, yeah, GG 1 minute, and if not, ban Lifestealer against us. Because, I mean, you can see how well Lifestealer did go down. We'll bring up the scoreboard just to demonstrate. Ramsey's got hold of it, and look what happened. Great stuff from VP. But that game is one that I think both IG and VP will remember. A wake-up call, perhaps, for the CIS powerhouse.
Yeah, and like he said, maybe nerves got in the way a little bit, although he did also say that even though, EG and Wings can play like TM champions, but they could also play like us and throw. So he did kind of assume that they were the ones that throw maybe this game. I just contributed to IG Vitality actually playing really well. But yeah, they were just really strong.
Yeah, I mean, Fog, was there genuinely evidence of that? Was there evidence of VP making these errors, choking, or feeling nervous? I mean, you were kind of praising VP at the same time.
Yeah, I think maybe they made a couple, like not like super apparent mistakes. Maybe just like the way that they'd have to use the rage. It's very difficult versus that lineup because there's so many different silences for Ramses. He had a hard game for himself, but Lil's Weaver is why we pretty much put him MVP. He sat back in a perfect position. That's why he bought himself a defusal as well. So global happens, defusals himself. He's ready to get the time lapse off instantly on the person that gets lassoed up. But you could see like. Not to take credit away from IGV, but in the later stages, you could see where their decision making looked a bit, like just a little bit under from VP, where you could see that's where it was like those late game decisions we said, that's going to be the big crucial thing that happens here. That's why we kind of thought that they would go for more like mid game things. But they gave us a hell of a game. And we did get a little bit of a curveball. We were looking for one. We were fishing for one, Ted, and we got Centaur coming out. And we'll be talking about that afterwards. Yeah. But I think actually Purge is standing by. I'll be picking your brain. But we have a Purge brain to pick. We'll head over to him and his magical telestrator. Well, did you enjoy that as much as we did at the desk, Purge?
Yeah, I totally haven't been standing here for 10 minutes. No, I've never known when the game's going to be. I saw the whole thing. Yeah? Fantastic. Okay. Well, I'll let you do your magic and we'll be back in a bit. Thank you very much. So the one thing I wanted to focus on is the big team fight that made things on the back foot for VP. The important moment is, first of all, they started with a whole lot less HP as a whole. 776 or 7,760 versus 9,000, just because they got a little low from the earlier high push. And the really crucial thing was actually this blade mill usage from the Alchemist, very uncommon item. But the cool part is that it offsets a lot of the rage timer that Ramses uses, especially because his HP is halfway down already. He's got to actually offset that. So just by having the blade mill, it buys his team time to actually wait to back him up. And the important things that happen during this, all these creeps are dying to things like acid spray as well as radiance. And if you look at the positioning of IG right here, they're basically safe anywhere on this side, and because all the creeps are dead now, that allows the Luna to actually swing down from the top and go for the back line. And this is usually where you want to aim when your cores. You want to kill their supports first to give them less disables. So just because they bought enough time here and killed the creep wave, it allowed the follow-up Eclipse to come in through and actually do a lot of damage. Now they did lose their Alchemist for this, but ultimately it was worth it because they get on the back line here, they do a lasso, time lapse is used to counter it, but at that point it was just IG running down VP, and this forced a lot of buybacks out of them and made the game a whole lot harder. Back to you guys. Beautiful stuff. Now that
is what we like. That is what he's there for. The Weatherman purred, shedding some light on that game, as did Luna with that Eclipse. But either way, we have wrapped up that game with, I mean, we put a bow on it, haven't we, really? Biggest takeaway, VP, are they the favorites now for the Boston Major? They've proven that it wasn't just the group stage. We've seen them win. The group stage, everyone was like, okay, it was a quick 2-2-0s. They come into the playoffs. Everyone's worried there could be additional nerves. They still managed to strive through IG. Or was that just not big enough of a test, Shiva, for you to start putting that label on it?
I think the second game, they looked slightly shaky.
Okay.
But no one just is full of confidence. He's like, okay, that was nerves. We can shake it off and we can beat everybody in about 20 minutes. I want to believe that confidence. I think they still have a really good shot, but they should step it up from that last game that they played.
We're going to be talking a little bit about what's coming up next because we want to set the scene, right? I mean, the winner, VP, will be playing the winner of EG Wings. Now, Ted, how on earth did this happen? Our viewers are probably wondering, why on earth is this happening in a single elimination format?
Well, sometimes teams underperform in the group stage. And unfortunately, EG, I wouldn't necessarily say it was just EG underperforming, but other teams played better than expected, perhaps. They had a bad day. That's what I was talking to some of the sort of guys around the outsides of the EG team. They had a bad day. It does happen. And now they've got to face Wings. But if you're going to win the tournament, you've got to beat someone like Wings anyway. So why not do it today? It doesn't make a difference. So, I mean, all right, you get a little bit less money, but EG are not a team that's short of a penny. So I think if they beat Wings, they go on, that's fine. They're happy to beat them early or late, it doesn't matter. Having said that, it's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a hype one. That is coming up after our break. Evil Geniuses versus Wings. The reigning TI champions could get eliminated in the first round of playoffs here at the Boston Major, and it's all coming up after our break. While we do take a break, we're going to have a quick look at our first episode of the Bostonian Challenge. You're going to enjoy this one. When we do return, it will be our second game of the day. You do not want to miss any of this.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever Boston Major Challenge. I decided we have a lot of guys from all over the world here working as talent, and I wanted to get you guys accustomed to the local Boston flavor, and to help me out here, I've got some friends. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
How you doing? I'm Tim. I've been in Boston the past 10 years, grew up just north of here.
And I'm Erin, and I've been in Boston for about 3 years now.
My name's Olga. I was born and raised in Boston, so I've been here my whole life.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you guys how to be true Bostonians on 3 different topics. It's going to be your accent, your overall attitude, and then demeanor. So, to help us out, we're going to get trained here by some true Bostonians, then we'll send you on the street to get tested. Number 1, we got to talk about accent. What makes a good Boston accent?
Well, denying the existence of the letter R is key, first and foremost. I'm using AH or UH at the end of letters instead of an R. Park the car in Harvard Yard is our famous saying there, so that's a good way to practice it.
Okay, can we get some examples from you guys? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You can't actually park your car in Harvard Yard. So.
That's good information. Yep. That's good for attitude. All right. So can you help them out? Can you give us some examples here that our boys and girls can... Yeah, we need a sentence that's not that one, but that's too classic.
That's too classic.
There you go.
Let's see. You could say I was at the bar. No R. You guys going to the bar?
Going to the bar.
To watch the Red Sox play.
Got a beer at the bar.
Beer at the bar. Yeah, beer at the bar.
Get that.
Okay. Any difficult ones? I mean, they have to trick people on the streets, so...
So you want to use words. We don't use dinner here usually. We say supper. So if you're going to get supper. Water fountain is a bubbler.
Bubbler.
Bubbler. Yep.
We got Jimmy's instead of sprinkles.
Jimmy's instead of sprinkles, yep.
Yeah.
Sprinkles?
Like on your ice cream.
Jimmy's.
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 Okay.
Jimmy's.
So like some Jimmy's on your ice cream.
How would you order a ice cream with sprinkles and then go to the water fountain? What would you guys say?
I would say I need some supper, so I'm gonna get some ice cream, I'll get some Jimmy's on top of there, and maybe get some water at the bubbler.
For me, ma.
What? The bubbler. Was that wrong?
I think that's pretty good. Okay.
Getting it for your mom.
Okay.
For my mom.
So we went over language. Let's talk about overall demeanor. What are true Bostonians like?
We think we're the best, obviously, like sports specifically. We think we're the smartest, obviously. We think the traffic laws don't apply to us. We're known for jaywalking.
Okay.
So, blatant disregard for laws is usually a good thing.
That's great. Yeah. That's a really good advice. Okay. Anything from you guys? Are you all set? All right.
Yeah.
So we're just looking for like overall demeanor. When they're walking towards another Bostonian, we want them to know that they're also from Boston. So like, what's important? How do you carry yourself in Boston?
Don't smile.
Don't smile.
No. Stone
face.
Stone face.
Okay.
Yeah, no smiles.
What about when something happy happens? What does a Bostonian do? Something good happens.
Crack a little smile, but don't get too excited.
Don't get too excited.
Not too excited.
Shaver, you're losing already. What happened? What happened?
I'm not going to win this time.
Okay. Guys, thank you for the training. We're going to send these guys out and do it. Anything to say, boys? Get us started, Owen. What do you got?
It's going to be great.
Shaver, are you ready?
Can I get a beer at the bar first?
Yeah, so that's pretty good. What do we got?
Bring it.
Okay, now that's good luck to you, sir. And then, great. All right, let's get outside and see how these guys do.